Yes, folks, it is Juneteenth. Monday will officially be a day off, a holiday for everybody. I hope everybody doesn't just look at it as a day off, but looks at it as the solemn event that it is. It derived its name from combining June and 19th because it is celebrated on the anniversary of the order issued by Major General Gordon Granger on June 19th, 1865, proclaiming freedom for slaves in the state of Texas. It originated in Galveston, Texas. Now, Juneteenth has been observed annually in various parts of the United States, often broadly celebrating African American culture. The day was first recognized as a federal holiday 2 years ago when President Joe Biden signed the Juneteenth National Independence Day Act into law after the efforts of Lula Briggs Galloway, Opal Lee, and others. Look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that this is some sort of giant step in progress. It's, to have the Juneteenth as a federal holiday, because on some level, I mean, I get why it's important. And I think we should all think it's important and celebrate the end of slavery and whatnot. But it is still a form of placation from white liberals to black people. Make no mistake, this is placation. We want reparations, they give us a day off. We want the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, they give us a day off. We want an end to qualified immunity for cops who kill black people, they give us a day off. We want an end to the war on drugs in the prison industrial complex, which has destroyed communities in our communities coast to coast, they give us a day off. There's a lot of things that overall poll pretty well in the black community that the black community has wanted as institutional changes in our society that Joe Biden and the Democrats have basically ignored. You heard what he told the black civil rights leaders when he talked to them on the phone right after he got elected. He said, look, you guys are just going to have to get in line. There's more Hispanics than you now. Very disrespectful. And of course, black people still go out and vote for him, unfortunately. Also, when the issue of reparations came up, he told us that the reason that there's a black-white wealth gap is because black kids don't hear enough words, and we should play more records for our children. And that there should be, social workers in our homes to teach us how to raise our children. And again, the majority of black people will vote for him anyway. Again, I already told you guys who my candidate is. I'm supporting Dr. West, but that's neither here nor there, folks. What is important is that there is a new front in the war for reparations. We are seeking the return of land that was taken from black people. There's this organization called Where is My Land, that specializes in helping black people get back land that was taken from our community, that was literally stolen from us through all kind of racist laws and chicanery during the 20th century. This is a video talking about how they were formed and some of the work that they have done.
Bruce's Beach was started by Willa and Charles Bruce, who came to California in the early 1900s. They wanted to build a resort for when family and friends came west to California, they would have somewhere to go and celebrate and fellowship with each other. Bruce's Beach was short-lived due to racism. And so they literally flattened their tires, broke their windows, did whatever they could do to run them out of the city. they lost the property to eminent domain.
Someone sent me a Daily Breeze blog post about what happened to the Bruces. I was just disgusted. And I'm like, this is in the community where I live right now. I remember a reporter asking me what I wanted to see happen. And I remember saying, yeah, we want the plaque changed, and I want this family to get the land back. I want to see policy change that deeds the land back to the family.
Justice for Bruce's Beach! Through Where Is My Land? The fight for restorative and reparative justice continues nationally.
Ever since the bill signing, we've had a number, we're probably at 100 now, of families who have asked for our help.
Justice for Bruce's Beach has fueled Where Is My Land?
The problem that we're working to solve is really one of justice and injustice.
It is bringing in the right people, people that we can trust, the people who have the same passion. It is about using research, advocacy, and technology to hopefully get successes for other families.
Research is really the backbone of what Where Is My Land is doing. Technology is how we find the stories of families who know that they've had land stolen and maybe have been trying to get it back for decades.
Why do I do this work? Is because I know I'm here to do the work. I know that this is my purpose in this world, and I feel it with every fiber of my being.
Why are we doing this? Because no one else is doing it. Because I feel it in my bones and my soul and spirit that someone has to do this.
What happened to the Bruces is not the first instance or the only instance where Black land was stolen from Black people. Where Is My Land is here to help remedy that problem.
We need the public. We need the support of the public. We need the involvement of the public. We need the participation of the public. This is proven. It's not a hypothetical anymore. It happened. Kavan did it.
Help us by donating. Help us by volunteering. And help us by sharing the word about what has happened. Educate your community. Educate yourselves. Learn about whether or not your land has been stolen from your family. And come to Where Is My Land to help you get it back.
Wow. Yes. African-American families across the country, this is courtesy of the New York Times, African-American families across the country, particularly in the southern United States, are pushing for the return of land that was taken in government seizures, an emergent attempt to provide economic restoration for the long saga of Black land loss and deprived inheritances. Carrying passed down family stories, descendants are searching for aging deeds and scouring public records to try to prove past ownership of properties that are now the sites of businesses, college dormitories, and in the case of the Jones family, a parking lot for a campus business administration building. They want the land to be paid or to be paid current market value. In some cases, families are asking for an acknowledgement of the harm done as a way to return their history to public memory. Wow. This national organization dedicated to helping Black families recover lost land has received about 700 claims to properties in the last 2 years. One real estate lawyer has heard from hundreds of people looking for assistance. Black property loss and the case for reparations, long the realm of academics, has now spilled into politics as the nation debates compensation for the descendants of those enslaved in the United States. Generally, the claims are separate from broader public efforts at reparations being considered by states and some universities. In some individual claims, families are appealing directly to the entities that now possess the land. Only a few cases have gotten traction. Most are in the early stages and could take years to progress, if they do at all. For many Black families, the loss of property stripped by deceit, violence, or using eminent domain and often sold below its market value was relegated to bittersweet memories and cautionary tales. Scholars say the use of eminent domain was often racially motivated and invoked disproportionately in minority and poor communities. One study showed that between 1949 and 1973, 2,532 eminent domain projects in 990 cities displaced 1 million people. That's only in 24 years. 1 million people, mostly African American, displaced in 24 years between 1949 and 1973. For decades, family talked about the land that their ancestors owned as an infuriating yet unsurprising personal history, rather than a winnable modern fight. Over the years, a few families fought to get their land back, but as talk of racial justice has taken a more concrete form in the aftermath of the killing of George Floyd, more families are seeking the return of what was once their land. A California panel last month recommended billions in reparations for African American families in the state. San Francisco is considering $5 million in cash payment as a way to bring back black residents harmed by their housing policies. Separately, the return of prime beachfront real estate in Southern California to descendants of the Bruce family, nearly a century after the land was seized from its ancestors through eminent domain, inspired more families to examine their own histories. So you all out there, you might want to ask if you got any ancestors, any elders who are still with us, who came from down there in the South and had your land stolen from them. You might want to ask them about this, because this organization, Where Is My Land, is helping a lot of people get it back. Now, last year, a group of scholars estimated the loss of agricultural land once earned by black families. Listen to this. The research showed that farmers, the largest group of black landowners, lost more than 90%. 90% of the 16 million acres that they owned in 1910, based largely on discrimination by the United States Department of Agriculture. The present compounded value of the land loss came to about $326 billion from 1920 to 1997. Now think about that. We lost 90% of 16 million acres. 90% of 16 million acres. That's worth about $326 billion from 1920 to 1997. Think about how many black people are living in the projects today, who are living in the ghetto, who are living on the margins in cities like this one that we're in right now. My people came from Mississippi and Arkansas and those places. Who knows what they got down there or had down there? I don't know how they got here exactly or why they came exactly. Who knows how many people living on the south side of Chicago, in Inglewood, living on O Block, living in the west side in Lawndale, living in East Chicago in the harbor, had to get run out of New Edition because of the hazardous chemicals that was found to be buried in the land there. Living in the margins in Flint, Michigan, where they can't drink the water. Or in Detroit, where they didn't have water for a long time. Jackson, Mississippi, where they can't drink the water. Who knows how many of these people's families had land that could have been worth millions of dollars, or at least hundreds of thousands of dollars. And now their descendants live in poverty, or live on the margins, or live in check to check. This is why reparations is such an important issue. Right here. Right here. So far, Where Is My Land has determined about 240 of the 700 claims submitted seem promising, and it will be asking families to submit more information. lead researcher Kamala Miller Lester said. Within that number, about 45% are considered active cases, meaning the documentation has been vetted by Where Is My Land, and the group is working with the family and its lawyers. In Georgia, black families settled near the University of Georgia in Athens in the early 1900s in Lenintown, then a vibrant, close-knit community with about 50 homeowners. As a part of an urban renewal project, the city of Athens and the Board of Regents displaced all those families to make way for 3 dormitories on campus. By the mid-1960s, everybody was gone. The community was gone. Residents were paid as little as $1,450 for their properties. A University of Georgia analyst said homeowners received only 56% of the amount they would have received if their properties had valued similarly to those outside of Lenintown. We had masons, construction workers, electricians, carpenters, even a professional baseball player living in Lenintown. It was one big village, says Hattie Thomas Whitehead, a 4th-generation descendant of Lenintown. Whitehead and a few remaining descendants formed a group to demand economic redress. They asked for $5 million in reparations, split between Athens, Clarke County, and the university, with memorial markers and the renaming of a building on the campus. Greg Trevor, a spokesperson for the University of Georgia, said that the decision on compensation rested with the Board of Regents, which oversees the university system of Georgia, which purchased the land. Neither the board nor the office of Governor Brian Kemp responded to requests for comment. Trevor said the university has met with Lenintown descendants and had offered to include the story of Lenintown in an oral history project maintained by the University of Georgia Libraries. Now, that's not enough. That's not enough. In 2021, Kelly Gertz, the mayor of Athens, issued a general proclamation of apology for urban renewal projects. The Athens-Clarke County Commission later approved a resolution specifically acknowledging the destruction of Lenintown and committed $2.5 million to fund affordable housing program and a race and justice system. Oh, God, a race and justice center. Okay. State law prohibits direct payments to private individuals. The resolution stated the neighborhood was systematically destroyed through intimidation, controlled fires, tokenized black representation, and paternalistic reclamation policies. Lenintown, the resolution said, was effectively erased without a trace by the city of Athens, Georgia, and the University System of Georgia. So, yeah, you see what they're doing, right? They're saying, well, you know what? We'll issue a general proclamation of apology, and we'll launch a few urban renewal projects in the city. So, you know, no, that's not enough. An apology is not enough. A race and justice center is not enough. The only thing that is enough is actual economic redress for the sin itself of taking those people's land. Let me get this caller. Hello, caller.
Okay, Scott, how you doing?
It's all good, brother.
Okay, now, I was glad when I heard you say that Jackson cannot drink water.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did, I just called up my older sister, and so you can also ask Dr. J to call up Bobby Birch, because they talk and they communicate. She said yes, they can drink.
Could you repeat that? Your phone is something's happening with your phone now. Hello? Yeah, could you repeat that?
Okay, wait a minute now. Wait, hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, she's my sister, which is in Jackson.
Yes.
She say they can drink water all over Jackson.
Finally.
Now hold on now, but what I'm saying for the backup, Dr. J is talking to Bobby Rich probably every day or every other day, so Bobby can explain that to you all also.
Okay. All right.
He down there. He not far from my sister down there in Jackson.
It's all good, brother. Thank you for your call.
Okay, babe. Okay.
It's all good. Yeah, thank God. For a while, that's one of the reasons why Deion Sanders talked about why he was leaving Jackson State when he was the football coach, because they had a horrific situation down there where the water was something happened. There was a storm, and there was all kinds of the water couldn't be wasn't potable for a long time, and they found out that it was basically almost not exactly what happened in Flint, Michigan, where you had the where you just had out and out corruption, but there was something in which the water system in Jackson got tainted, and that nobody could do anything because the state of Mississippi had control over it, and the state was fighting with the city and Chokwe Lumumba. So yeah. So that's good to hear that they finally got they can drink potable water. But it shouldn't even come to that. Jackson, Mississippi, outside of Gary and Detroit, has always been one of the blackest cities in America, if not the blackest cities in America. And it just goes to show you once again, as my man, I always quote my man Funky Academic here, Hear Me, oh say Frimpong, wherever you see black people living in mass, check the water. All right, folks, we got to go to our first break. Please stay with us here on WLTH 1370 AM. I want to talk about, before we go to the Happy Happies, just how conservative are black people.
I had the opportunity to sit down with Kevon Ward to reflect on her work with Bruce's Beach and some new cases that have come her way through her organization. You started the Justice for Bruce's Beach campaign in 2020 as an initiative to get 2 parcels of land returned to the descendants of Willa and Charles Bruce. How did this go from a gathering on Juneteenth to a movement that got national attention?
It was my focus and determination to make sure that there were some results, right? I literally thought about it every single day. I ate it, I slept it, I breathed it, I meditated it, and every day there was a download from source essentially ordering my steps. And so for me, it was just like, what can I do legally and legislatively to make this happen? And how do I get people's attention? And I think the media did a really good job with aiding in that. And I think it's also important to mention that the focus was not just to get the 2 parcels of land, but it was to get remedy for the violation of civil and human rights Charles and Willa Bruce experienced, to get remedy for the lost business enterprise. So our goal was to have the city of Manhattan Beach pay up financially and also to have the land returned.
The descendants of Willa and Charles Bruce received the deed to that land in July 2022, so ultimately your advocacy work paid off. And from there, you now have a true organization called Where Is My Land? And you've shifted your advocacy work. What are you doing with that organization?
Well, we're working more with families across the country. We have about 600 claims at this point of folks who are asking for us to help them get land back or to get financial restitution for land that they can't get back. The folks who have had their land stolen deserve reparations for being the descendants of enslaved people, and they deserve repair for having their land stolen.